activate the spell card, Polymerization. Here comes the hero to both you and me. Elemental Hero, Flame Wingman! Flame Wingman! Infernal Ray!
Be sure to get your playmat today at tsx1.com.
So, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Sam from Team Sam here. Happy Thursday! Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful Thursday. In today's video, I got you guys a very awesome collab with my friend right here. Yacine is a good friend of mine. He's a great Yu-Gi-Oh player, and he has 5 helpful tips to help you become a better Yu-Gi-Oh player. So we really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Before we get started with this video, don't forget to break that thumbs up button for more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh videos, guys. And also at the same time, be sure to subscribe to Yacine's channel in the link in the description box below. Let's help him get to 20,000 subscribers. Come on, guys. Team Samurai X1 Army is the best army in the league, in the game, in YouTube. Let's get started with the 5 tips to help you get better at Yu-Gi-Oh. Alright guys, let's do it. Okay guys, so tip number 1, avoid missing the timing. Yacine, what does this mean?
Hey, thank you, Sam. So, for tip number 1, basically how to avoid missing the timing, well, it's actually pretty simple. Just try to avoid actually using cards on Chainlink 2 or higher if they actually say when this card is blah blah, you can. So basically, these are the keywords to identify in order to avoid this kind of misplay, and you're going to see this happen right now, actually. My opponent is activating Cursed Eldland while he has 2 cards on the field, and I really want to summon my Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon so I can actually destroy these 2 spells and traps on the summon, but this is the catch. Cyberload is used on Chainlink 2 or higher, and Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon actually reads when this card is fusion summoned, you can destroy up to the amount of, well, spells and traps on the field, up to the amount of fusion materials used for its fusion summon. And the reason why Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon won't be able to trigger here is exactly just like I said, because it misses the timing, as its fusion summon is not the last thing to happen. The last thing to happen wasn't Cyberload Fusion resolving, but rather Cursed Eldland being resolved while it activated itself on the field. And because of that, my Chimera Tech Rampage won't be able to destroy 2 cards, and I am seriously laid behind. All I really had to do to avoid that was just wait until the resolution when the game state is open and my opponent passes priority on using a spell speed 2 or higher action or something, and then I can actually use my Cyberload Fusion that is a spell speed 2. So I hope this actually clears things up. I kind of just lost the game against myself just because of that, but that is it for this tip. Let's get into the next one.
Number 2. Playing through hand traps is very important. You see?
Why, thank you again, my dear Sam. So for this combo, we're actually kind of going to learn how to actually play through a bunch of hand traps, maybe even Dark Ruler, and all you're really doing is just playing Shaddoll Invoke. Now, this deck, I'm going to say, is remarkable at playing around and through hand traps. It's definitely a really scary deck, and there are a lot of cards that are just not really applicable for this deck, while they would be good against a lot of other decks. For example, Drool and Nibiru, if you draw these cards against like Dragon Link or Drytron, for example, you're pretty much safe from everything, but against Shaddoll Invoked, not too much. So let's actually try to find what I'm going to do. So during the draw phase or during the main phase or whatever, you can actually make the El Shaddoll Fusion. Now, another tip that I really want to give is that if you're actually sending a card like Shaddoll Beast from your hand to the graveyard for El Shaddoll Fusion, I would strongly recommend you to use the El Shaddoll Fusion on the draw phase, and the reason why that is the case is because you'll be drawing that card during the draw phase, and Drool and Lockbird can only use itself to prevent the opponent from searching until the rest of the turn outside of the draw phase. So you can actually kind of get a lot of searches and a lot of draws during the draw phase, and that is the reason why the Drool Reincarnation actually kind of has the stipulation of only being able to be used on standby, main phase, etc. So that is pretty much a similar ruling. And also another thing is that Salamangrate, they were doing something like that very, very often, where they're always going Salamangrate Circle on draw phase, and you're like, why is that the case? But when you have quick play spell cards, you want to get like full advantage of these cards. So anyways, now we're gonna make Construct, organize our Chainlink. So the Chainlink 3 card is the least important card. Now our opponent is going to be a bit tunnel vision on it, and he's just gonna DD Crow the Trick Clown. What I want to say here is that I think this was incorrect, because there are other really powerful cards that I think would have been, they would have probably lost to the DD Crow a bit more than the Trick Clown, but it's okay. So now we're still going to get the effect of our Construct and our Wendy. Wendy is going to summon the Ariel, and then the Construct is going to send Squamata, which can actually actually send another card, and that card will be Rest Shuttle Incarnation. So if you were able to follow, sorry, we're actually at 3 summons already, meaning that we only have one final safe summon before this Nibiru can actually hit us, and this was actually the first search from the deck to the hand. So now our opponent can finally use Droll and Logbird. Now, is Droll and Logbird a really good card against Shuttle Invoke? And the answer is no, unless the card that you actually draw are like Terraforming, Magical Meltdown, using Shadow Beast's effect, Allure of Darkness, and stuff like that. But if you're just using Alistair and Wendy and all those cards like Squamata and the graveyard effects of your El Shadow monsters, you're not really searching from your deck to your hand, you're just recycling back from your graveyard, or you're banished to your hand, or special summoning, which means that the Droll and Logbird is essentially kind of wasted here, and the Trick Clown, as you can clearly see, we don't really need it too much, we can still play the game really well. So now our 4th summon is going to be the Cross Sheep. Now, there are 2 things that I want to see here. First of all, Nibiru only tributes face-up monsters, so even if we summon something else that is, you know, prone to getting hit by Nibiru, the Ned Shadow Ariel would stay on the field, and then we can actually go Rest Shuttle Incarnation to actually summon back our construct from our banished by flipping the Ariel that is face down. So that is actually really cool, and we're going to keep playing this out. So now we're going to recycle the El Shadow Fusion. Invocation is going to summon Merkaba, which is summon number 5. So now if our opponent tries to, you know, do the cute Nibiru move to prevent us from going Appaloosa or whatever, it's not going to do anything. I can just negate it with Merkaba. So when your summon number 5 is a negate, that's even better. And we're getting so many recursions back because our invocation can get back the Alistair. Now we're going to go Rest Shuttle, flip the Ariel exactly just like I said, revive back the construct. It's now once per turn, which is fair card design, right? I mean, why would anything ever be once per turn? And of course, even the graveyard effect to recycle back the Shadow cards aren't once per turn. So the card that I was actually able to send from the deck to the graveyard with construct was Shadow Schism, which I can actually recycle back as soon as I link with it. I could have actually made Appaloosa as well, but I really wanted to keep these monsters as fusion materials for my El Shadow Fusion. If you don't have El Shadow Fusion, you don't really have to do that. So yeah, now we're just passing turn. The order in which we're using our interruption is definitely Merkaba first, because we don't really want to commit it to a Winda and then lose 2 negates in one shot. So that's also really important. You know, it's not just about playing around and through hand traps, it's also around playing around like other cards like Dark Ruler, Forbidden Drop, etc. So now our opponent committed to his first special summon. We can, I guess, go into El Shadow Winda to make sure that he doesn't do more shenanigans. Obviously, the example here was just Garnet into a Link Spider was just a meme, because hey, I'm in control of EDO Pro, okay? Leave me alone. I stack the hands, I play against myself. But now we can actually also go for a mega freaking interruption. This is beautiful, man. You're sending Nile Shadow Ariel and Squamata as fusion materials for your Winda, which means that you're getting 2 effects. The triple DD Crow and also the ability to Foolish for Shadow Dragon, Shadow Beast, Shadow Wendy, everything, you name it. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Beast to draw 1 card, potentially draw a hand trap, we never know. And now our opponent is going 3 tactical talents. He can't really do too much though, so he gets our light monster, and now you might be thinking, ooh, this actually hurts a lot because this Merkaba could actually just jump over the Winda, and you can't really do anything anymore. And there was a point here where I actually could have misplayed completely by summoning, sending the Rest Shuttle Wendy on, very similar actually, it's the same girl, to special summon a monster, because then the my Schism actually would have prevented me from using its effect. So the Winda would have prevented my Schism from activating. Basically, you get the point. So now we can actually use the effect of Schism, since we didn't really special summon. We can actually summon the construct and take advantage, the full advantage of Schism. It's not just a card that summons fusions, by the way, so this tip is like a 10-in-1, but we can actually send a monster our opponent controls that matches the attribute of whichever fusion monster we made. So in this situation, it's light, and the construct is also going to trigger, since this was indeed a fusion summon, yes. Or even if it's just a special summon, you still get the trigger of construct. And again, we're just getting even more pluses over and over and over. If this Winda was negated, we would have sent a Wendy and then summoned a beast from the deck, but it's okay if we actually just surge the beast. And our opponent hand trapped us thrice. He used Dark Ruler, triple tactic talents, and look at our board: Winda, Construct, Schism, Alistair, a Shadow Search, and a draw. So pretty disgusting. I think people are going to play Shuttle Invoked way more now, but that's it for tip number 2. Let's get into tip number 3.
You guys all need to know about card functionality. This is a really important one.
Alright, Sam, I know you know this one, but maybe the audience doesn't necessarily know it. So Hieratic Seal is a really fantastic card, and I don't really have to say too much. I mean, Hieratic Seal is played in Dragon Link. Dragon Link arguably one of the best decks in the format. Now, I'm not really going to showcase the Dragon Link combo here, but I'm actually just going to show you how immensely broken this card can actually be. So here we're actually going to use the effect to bounce back any face-up card on the field. You can actually bounce back your own monsters, by the way, and the reason why this is relevant is because you can return back your Chaos Dragon Levineer that you summoned off of, well, I mean, that you searched off Brotor to remove a card from your opponent's hand, which gives you a follow-up, and then you can summon back, I don't know, another Brotor or another card that gets you a search. But if you really want to interrupt your opponent as much as possible, these are some amazing side deck options, or potentially even main deck options, depending on what we actually are going to see in the near future. So Quakimeru Drago is going to be a staple one of in every Dragon Link side deck. You can already be assured of that, and basically this card, you don't really want to summon it in your actual combo because it kind of conflicts a bit. You can't really keep extending after that. Neither player can special summon light or dark monsters, so this is great to summon off of Hieratic Seals because you already have your full board, so you're just getting even more value off of your Hieratic Seal. Yeah, sure, it has 0 attack and 0 defense, but against a special summon heavy deck that doesn't really run any normal summon like Eldritch, look at how many cards are going to be completely turned off. Scarlet Sanguine cannot even be activated whatsoever. Black Awakening, same thing, and it's just a matter of time before our opponent loses because we kind of just have the ability to do everything we want without our opponent having the threat of just exploding on our face. And if this was a combo deck and he had to waste his battle phase just to bait the Hieratic Seal, so we could actually summon Quakimeru Drago against like an empty board our opponent has, well, all the better. But there are other cards that you can actually summon. A Morphage Sloth to pretty much lock both players from their extra deck, alongside Aether the Evil Empowering Dragon. And this card, when it is actually normal or special summon, you can target one monster on the field, banish it. So this card was actually really played in Pendulum. Same thing with a Morphage Sloth. They could actually be sent with Electrum, by the way. Hey, unban Electrum! But yeah, that's it for this combo. Now let's see what combo number 5. No, sorry, this tip. Let's see what tip number 4 has in spot.
Number 4, finding unique ways to win. Yacine?
Alrighty, so tip number 4 is also a really cool one. I don't see enough people who are like super big brain on this, but it's maximizing the card functionality and the usage of your cards in a way where you can actually be creative with your OTKs and pretty much just be like, you know what? I shouldn't have game, but since I have an IQ of 10 billion, I can randomly game you, and that's pretty much what we're actually able to do right now. So our opponent is going to whatever normal summon Spinny. Now this is actually a red flag. If you play a deck like Subterror, you can't afford to let the opponent's Salamangreat monsters hit the graveyard, because then they can actually, get the Veiling Search, Will, summon back, graveyard effect of Spinny, Gazelle effect, and you're just gonna get overwhelmed. So if you can actually Book of Moon their normal summon, all the better, because of course, then we actually would have had to use the effect on Parallel Exceed. That would have been less good. Our opponent still would have had the ability to play the game quite well, so that's exactly what we're doing. During the end phase, our opponent is not doing much, so we're just gonna Book of Moon our the exact opposite of Book of Moon, so flip back up so we can actually get a search. This is Subterra Fiendess. Now, this is also, again, going to be like a quadruple tip in one. I don't think I have seen someone play Striker Dragon in Guru, and it's such a good card, ironically, because in this situation, if we want to make something like a Predaplan Verte Anaconda, imagine actually having to commit your normal summon Fiendess and then link it off with Guru to make the Anaconda, but I don't really want to do that. It's not really good. So what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm going to link it off into a Striker Dragon just so I can freely revive it back with Fiendess, and then obviously I'm flipping back up the Guru with my Hidden City, getting a free search in the process, and then I'm going to automatically, I guess, force my Fiendess to be flipped face up with my final battle, and I can actually link off these two monsters into Anaconda, pay 2,000, summon my Red Eyes Dragoon, and I'm going to destroy my opponent's monster, which is a Salamangreat Spinny. So my opponent is going to take 1,000, and let's just do some quick maths in approximately 3 seconds, and it's gonna be right now. So This is the cool part. 3000 plus 34 plus 500 is actually equal to 6900 damage. Our opponent has 7000, so we are 100 shy from the OTK, but don't worry, there's always a creative way to pretty much just kill your opponent, especially when you have the resources to do so. So what you can actually do here is actually go Anaconda, target a monster that isn't dark to try to make it dark, and then you're actually going to go Dragoon, negate your own Anaconda, and on paper this looks really weird because you're like giving up on a monster, you're giving up on your card in hand, and you're also giving up 500 potential damage, but what you're really doing is increasing the attack of your Dragoon so it becomes 4000. Monsters your opponent have in their possession are less likely to be able to crash with this card now, because I can't really think of a lot of monsters that have 4000 attack that are just inherent summons, but like 3000 for example, there's Zoo King Alpha, there you can also reveal Bigfoot, and that already clears the Dragoon. So by doing that, not only are you reducing the amount of win conditions your opponent have, but also, I mean, you're just killing your opponent right now because 4000 plus 34 is now 74, and you can game your opponent. Pretty fantastic. That's it for tip number 4. Let's get into the last and beautiful tip now.
And last but not least, number 5. Columns are important. Come on guys, what are you doing? Know your columns!
Yeah, you guys heard it from Sam. This is actually the importance of columns in the game, and I can't stress that enough. Columns are extremely important for so many reasons. A lot of people just sleep on the columns. They think, whatever, I am gonna be fine. My opponent doesn't play Mech Knights. It's fine. Only Mech Knights actually make it matter, or infinite impermanence. Don't worry, there are other ways you can actually lose to incorrect column placement, and I'm going to show you this right now. Of course I am. So, our opponent is going to go righty driver to summon the lefty driver, and as you can see, relinquished anima actually points upwards in the column number 2 or 4, which are which are 2 extra monster zones. So if we actually summon a monster to these zones, it can actually get sucked up by relinquished anima, which basically has the same effect of relinquished, just of course with a column restriction. And apart because of that, we actually just lost a monster. That's kind of huge, and it's not over yet because our opponent can also make Geonator Transverser. Like, what? Out of literally every monster, this card, don't sleep on it because it actually points diagonal to I believe the right. So if it is in this extra monster zone, it can actually suck up this monster, well actually switch control, it's a creature swap. And of course, if you summon a monster here, your opponent can summon the Geonator Transverser here. So in other words, column number 1 and column number 3 are unsafe, and column number 2 and column number 4 are unsafe from relinquished anima, meaning that the most safe column, ironically, is column number 5, regardless on which kind of board you stand on the field. It's kind of like symmetric, so it doesn't really matter. And this is going to be reinforced by the fact that our opponent is going to just capitalize off of this and OTK us out of everything. Like, Blue Eyes Chaos Max takes advantage of this card so well, and these are the safe columns, you know, the columns that my monsters should have been. Well, I mean, not only this column, this is the safe column for our opponent, not really the Dante, but yeah, he's going to summon the Chaos Max in the column that he should have been in, and by attacking the Brotor that he generously gave us, we are now dead. Oh my god, 8000 one shot. So absolutely beautiful. Shoutouts to Saitama, the One Punch Man OTK. Yeah, I mean, I really hope you guys were able to learn a thing or two, and also, most importantly, enjoy this video, because these are the kind of videos that I actually personally do on my channel. I make a lot of combo, deck profile, testing, reviews, OCG and TCG metagame breakdown, tip videos. So if you're, I guess, either new to the game or you're trying to hone your skills even better, perfecting them so you can top, win a regional, eventually even top a YCS, or even win a YCS. I mean, a lot of people are much better than me, so that's definitely a possibility. Well, definitely make sure you actually check out my channel in the description box below. It is Yacine656. A like and a subscribe would be very appreciated, but you know, you don't really have to do it. It's just that it's gonna make my day much better, and I mean, I love you anyway. So thank you so much for watching this video, and also thank you very much ETPat, or I guess Sam, that's how the internet knows you, for featuring me on your channel again. I mean, I'm basically always in the videos, except that it's not really, it's basically my name that's featured. Shoutouts to my boy Yacine, because he actually came up with a combo and stuff. That's basically me, in case you're wondering. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.
I activate the spell card, Polymerization. Here comes the hero to both you and me. Elemental Hero Flame Wingman! Flame Wingman! Infernal Ray!
Be sure to get your playmat today at tsx1.com.